What is up, guys? James here from the Light of Riga YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to be doing a reading for all my Gemini sun sign friends. If you were born between the dates of May 21st and June 20th, then you are a Gemini sun sign, and this reading is for you. Today we're going to be doing a love and relationship spread. This reading is going to tell us all about the energies affecting your loving relationships. And we're going to be doing two readings today. One for those in a relationship already, and one for those who are single. So you're allowed to fast forward to the one that pertains to you. We're going to be doing relationship first, and then singles. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to my crystal friends. We've got Rhodonite Sphere here, and this is about love for others. We've got a Sodalite Sphere, which helps me get in tune to the tarot cards, and we've got Rose Quartz Sphere over here, which is, it just emanates pure love. It's a beautiful crystal. So these crystals are going to help energize this reading in the right way. I'm going to be using the Llewellyn Classic Tarot. It's a cartoony deck, but it's one that I enjoy, so hopefully this will give us some insights in what's to come. So if you would please give me a moment to center myself and ask the tarot cards a question. What are the energies surrounding Geminis who are currently in a relationship? Alright, that should do it. We'll cut the deck and deal out 5 cards. Alright, and we'll also use the Earth Magic Oracle. We'll pull a card from this deck, and we'll ask this deck, what message does this deck have for Geminis who are in a relationship? What message does it have for Geminis who are currently in a relationship? And we'll take a look at that card at the end. Alright, so we'll go through individually and then go through as a whole and see what this spread is telling us. This first card here represents your energy in the relationship. And we've got the Ten of Pentacles. And right away I'm getting the feeling that a lot of you who are in a relationship at this time are feeling pretty contented. Things are going well. You're well established. You live in the place where you want to live. Things are going well. You're starting to create a family, or you've created a family that you love. And I just get the feeling of happiness from this card, of satisfaction. Maybe not complete emotional satisfaction. Maybe not to the point where you're, in passion, but as far as the grounded aspects of your relationship, as far as where you're at, as far as living situation and the day-to-day things, I get the feeling of contentment for you guys. And remember, this is a general overall reading. Not everything's going to apply to everyone in a very specific way, so take what you will and leave the rest, and figure out how these cards apply to you. The Ten of Pentacles is about getting to the point where you have enough money, you have a place to live, and you're just content with the family dynamic, basically. So, good energy for you guys. Now, this card here represents the energy of your partner. And we got the Eight of Wands. And I get the sense here that your partner's pretty busy. A lot of movement. Maybe some change going on in your partner's life that's is just occurring rapidly, more rapidly than usual. He could be he or she could be very busy at this time, and maybe they seem a little bit detached because they got so much going on. Maybe they don't have 100% of their time devoted to you, and so you're feeling like a little bit like left out of the equation a tad bit. But I'm not getting any major things. I just get the feeling that your significant other is just things are happening to him or her, and it's a lot of things going on right now, a lot of movement, a lot of change. So if you are feeling like your partner seems detached or aloof or just not completely there for you, realize that there's a lot of things going on in that person's life, and they may just be really busy right now. And it's not because they don't love you; it's just because they got so much going on. Okay. This card represents what's working in the relationship. We've got the Nine of Swords. Oh. Okay, let me go into this card and see what this card is saying here. Wow. Not 100% sure what this message is, to be honest with you. Traditionally, the Nine of Swords is about ego thoughts, and the type of ego thoughts that kind of produce doubt, worry, and fear. And so maybe this card is saying that there's not a lot of that. There's not a lot of ego in you guys' life, in your relationship. There's not a lot of negative thoughts that are floating around. It seems like you guys are pretty positive people, and you're staying away from that negative downward spiral that so many people can get caught up in. And you know, it brings down two people. If only even one of them is experiencing that, as a whole, the relationship can suffer. So I do get the feeling that you guys keep ego out of it a little bit. You keep negativity out of your relationship, and that's what's working for you, because it's creating a harmonious life for both of you. So keep that up. This card here represents what is not working. And we've got the Eight of Pentacles. And this is the second eight that's come up here. And I do get the feeling that one of you, or maybe even both of you, are very busy. You guys are focused on work. And I think work might be bringing you guys apart a little bit. Spending so much time at work, spending so much energy at work. It takes a lot of energy to be creative or to be productive. And sometimes if we, are being taxed in the workplace, when we get back home, we don't have enough energy or attention or focus to give to our significant others, and that could drive a wedge between you guys. And I do feel like that's what's not working. I think there's a little bit too much emphasis on work going on right now, or creative expression if you do hobbies and stuff like that. So I definitely think that needs to be analyzed. Are one or both of you working a little bit too much? Can more time be spent on each other? Can you guys find a way to focus more on each other rather than on exterior things like acquiring money? So yeah, I think that's something that can be worked upon. Let's see this last card here. This card represents where you're headed. And we've got the Six of Wands. Let me go into this card for a moment. That's interesting. I usually read positively into this card, but I do sense a little bit of, what is the word? I want to say this correctly here. I don't want to, I get the feeling of pride, maybe. Maybe one person kind of being very dominating and the other person being submissive, and that one person who's dominating kind of lording over the other person. That's sort of what I'm getting at. This imbalance in work. Someone's working too much. It might lead to an imbalance in the relationship. And I hate to be negative, and I almost always read this card as positive, but for some reason right now I'm getting the sense of one person holding something over the head of another person. And so let's nip that in the bud before we get there. Remember, this is an equal footing relationship. You guys should be considering each other as equals. And just because one person is busy doesn't mean that they should be, looked down upon, or it doesn't mean they should have more power in the relationship since they're a breadwinner, air quotes. So I do sense an imbalance coming. And remember, this is tarot, and the future can't be predicted. This is just saying where the future is headed if nothing changes, possibly. So looking back on this spread, I think that you are pretty much... it's hard to say which one of you is working too much, and you know the answer to that. And but I do get the feeling of contentment from you, maybe a little bit of busyness from them. Just putting too much on their plate, and a lot of change happening. And but you guys stay positive, which is good. I like to see that. You got to remain positive in these situations. But yeah, there needs to be more time spent to each other, so that you're both happy and you're both equal. And try to remain as equal as possible, and try to be understanding of your significant other, whether he or she is spending too much time at work or whatever it is, they're doing it for you. They still love you, and they're doing it to bring home money so that you can live better lives. So keep that in mind when, there's an imbalance in energies there. Okay, let's take a look at the message that the Earth Magic Oracle had for you guys, for those Geminis who are in a relationship. And we have Winter Solstice Reflection. Okay, things are going well, but at the same time, things are changing, I get the feeling. And now is the time to really reflect on those changes. Why are these changes happening? If they're not happening yet, they're going to happen very soon. And now's the time for reflection, to go inward and kind of ask yourself the tough questions about this relationship. Is it headed in the right direction? If yes, how can I improve that? If no, how could I improve that? And always be looking to improve is basically what I'm saying. And this card is about hibernation, sort of. And when the winter comes, it's a time for self-reflection. We can't go out as much, and we kind of stay inwards. That's a metaphor. And we kind of do the self-analyzations and analyzing the relationship in this case. So that's something that needs to occur right now, is some analyzations, and see if you're headed on the right path. And if you're not headed on the right path, see what you can do to get on that right path. Okay. All right, so now we're going to move on to the reading for Gemini singles. All right, that ought to do it. We'll cut the deck, and we'll deal out 5 cards. Alright, now we're also going to incorporate the Earth Magic Oracle, and we're going to ask this deck what message it has for Gemini singles at this time in August. What message for single Geminis? And we will look at that card at the end. Alright, we'll look at these cards individually, then we'll look at them as a whole. The first card we're going to look at represents your energy right now. We've got Justice. Okay. I get the feeling that a lot of you, remember this is a general overall reading, it's not going to apply to everyone, but a lot of you are feeling kind of pretty cool in your singularity. You're feeling kind of blissful, almost happy, even, balanced. I get the feeling that maybe most of you aren't really, craving or desperate for a love relationship right now. I mean, some of you are, yes, but I don't feel the desperation. I don't feel like it's something that you really need. I feel like a lot of you are feeling balanced, like you don't need someone right now necessarily. Yeah, if someone great comes along, that's great, but you're not really seeking it out just because you feel so happily balanced right now. So yeah, that's pretty interesting to see that. I like that. This card here represents your blockages to finding a loving relationship, and we've got the 8 of Swords. And I definitely do feel like a block that's stopping you from finding a love relationship right now is yourself and your own self-limiting beliefs. When you think of the ego mind, you think of thoughts like, I'm not good enough for this, I don't have enough money for that, I'm too old to blah, blah, blah. And these are all self-limiting beliefs that you tell yourself. And so these are blockages to finding love. You tell yourself that you're not good enough in whatever way you say. I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too rich, I'm too poor. All these stupid things that we tell ourselves that aren't true, that just block us from finding what we're looking for. And in this case, it's love. So really go inside yourself and analyze what negative beliefs are you telling yourself about finding a partner that aren't true and you could do away with. And I think that'll help you a lot. If you're on the quest for finding love, that'll help you immensely, getting rid of that blockage. This card here represents what you can improve, and we've got the Hermit. Okay, this card is saying that you guys need some more self-realization. Meditation, self-analyzation, understanding your truer self is what's going to help you to improve as you quest to find a romantic partner is knowing yourself better. And in order to know yourself, you really have to ask the tough questions. You're going to have to look at those shadow aspects. You're going to have to dive deep. And you're going to have to get real with yourself. Get real to heal. And knowing yourself better will help you understand what you want out of a loving relationship, and will make send the energetic vibration that's, I know what I want, and so it makes it easier for the universe to bring that to you. But if you're not really sure of yourself, if you don't know yourself that well, it's going to be hard to figure out what you truly want and acquire what you truly want, just because you're sending out mixed signals to the universe. So get real and with the self, and that'll help you find a partner. So often we're taught, to attract someone is external things, but this card is saying deal with the internal stuff, and that will attract a partner. Okay. This card here represents what to avoid, and we've got the 8 of Cups, and this card is saying that you got to avoid running from your feelings, running from how you feel about things. As the Hermit kind of showed, maybe some of you are a little bit fearful of your emotions, a little bit fearful about your inner self, and you're kind of timid as far as going down that lane and really asking yourself those questions. And this card is saying you need to avoid that. You need to really, like I said, get real to heal. You have to understand your emotions in order to move forward, and you can't run from them because you're just making them worse. You're just suppressing them, and then they're gonna come out in all sorts of different hurtful ways in the future. So avoid running away from how you feel. Really get to know yourself better. I think that's what this card is trying to tell us. And this card here represents where you are headed on this path. We've got the Ace of Swords. I get the sense that some new ideas are soon to come in. I'm not going to put a time frame on this, but I think you're going to have some new ideas that are going to change the way you look at dating, or finding a partner, or even at relationships. I feel like if you can do this stuff, if you can really get down to the root causes of some of your negative emotions, I think that's going to bring out new thoughts and new ideas and a new perspective and perception of what a relationship is and it can be. And I think that's going to help you a lot. So I do see some change coming, a transformative change coming down the pike. And looking at these cards as a whole, I do see that you feel kind of happy and balanced right now, but are you deluding yourself a little bit? Are you just saying that I'm happy and balanced just because you don't want to look at your darker aspects? I'm not saying that is the case. I'm asking you that question, and you need to ask yourself that question to see if it rings true. Your blockages to finding a partner is your own self-limiting beliefs that I'm not this, I'm not that, and I can't do this because I don't have that, and that sort of thing. Get rid of those. You really have to analyze that, and in order to analyze those things, you're going to have to get introspective with yourself. You look deep down at your roots, your heart, and really see yourself for what you truly are, rather than all the facades that you put up for society and even for yourself. You're going to have to stop running away from your emotions. Your emotions are valid and they're valuable, and they're trying to teach you something, and if you run away from them, they're wasted, and they will come out one way or the other. So you don't want them to come out in the form of disease of any kind. So really sit with those negative emotions that you may have and are afraid to deal with, and really understand why that you're having them and what they can do to help you learn about yourself. And in the future, I get the feeling that there's going to be some new ideas, a new way of looking at the world and looking at dating and relationships that's going to be beneficial to you. It's going to help you find that person that you're meant to be with. So that's positivity right there. That's great. I love it. So let's look at the Earth Magic Oracle and see what message it has for Gemini singles in the month of August. Oh, it all comes together in the end. We got meadow and vulnerability, and that's what you're going to have to do, guys. You're going to have to become vulnerable. You're going to have to be open and show yourself to yourself is really the feeling I'm getting. If you want to attract a partner, you have to be real with yourself. No one wants to date someone who's lying, right? No one wants to date someone who's got so many secrets and is unwilling to share them with them, or even with themselves, and they're lying to themselves. People want to be with people who are real. In order to be real, you're going to have to be open. You're going to have to be honest with yourself, and you're going to have to be willing to look at those darker aspects of yourself, okay? I hope that made sense. I hope you got something out of that. Remember, this is a general overall reading. If you want a reading tailored specifically for you, then head on over to my Etsy shop. The link is in the description and in the card, and we can do this reading or any number of different readings that pertain to you and the question that you have about life. So I'd appreciate it if you go check that out. If you really enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. It lets me know that I did something right and you enjoyed it and you got something out of it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, then put those in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about these readings. And if you really enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, because I release these videos bi-monthly and I sprinkle a whole bunch of other videos in between them. So a lot to see, hear, and taste. Okay? So Geminis, great things coming in the future. It's going to take a little work, but you can do it. All right, leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy taroting. Peace.